Today, we are diving into a really fascinating idea from traditional Chinese medicine. We're talking about the spirit. Now, this isn't about ghosts or anything supernatural. It's actually a super practical map of our inner world that might just change how you think about your own mind and emotions. Okay, let's just get right into it. Have you ever had one of those days, or, maybe one of those weeks where you just feel totally scattered? Like you can't focus. Or maybe you feel stuck, like you can't make a decision to save your life. That feeling of being completely overwhelmed? Yeah, we've all been there. Well, what's so interesting is that in TCM, these feelings aren't just random bad days. They're seen as really specific signals. They're basically messages from your spirit, letting you know that something inside is a little out of whack. So what is this spirit we're talking about? I mean, it's a word we hear all the time, right? But in Chinese medicine, it has a very specific, very practical meaning that's probably pretty different from what you're thinking. Right, so let's get this straight from the get-go. When we say spirit here, we are not talking about a religious soul. Think of it more like the entire command center for your inner life. It's everything all rolled into one: your consciousness, your personality, your emotions, your drive, the whole shebang. And here's where it gets really cool. This inner world isn't just one big blob. According to TCM, it's actually managed by an internal team of 5 different aspects. Together, they're known as the Wu Shen, or the 5 spirits, and each one has a very particular job to do. So, let's meet the team, shall we? Getting to know each of these 5 spirits and what they're in charge of is really the key to understanding how TCM looks at our entire psychological well-being. Okay, so here's a quick look at the roster. You can see each spirit has a name, a home base in a specific organ, and a core function. We've got the Shen in the heart, the Hun in the liver, the Po in the lungs, the Yi in the spleen, and the Z in the kidneys. I know it's a lot, but stick with me. Together, these 5 run everything from our basic consciousness to our deepest willpower. So let's meet them one by one. First up, we have the Shen. You can think of it as the mind. Its home is in the heart. And the Shen is basically the CEO of the whole operation. It's in charge of your overall consciousness, your ability to think clearly, your emotional stability, and how you connect with other people. When your Shen is balanced, you've got that telltale sparkle in your eyes. Next on the team is the Hun, or the ethereal soul, and it hangs out in the liver. The Hun is your inner architect. It's the visionary. This is the part of you that governs your dreams, your creativity, your imagination, and your ability to make plans and find a direction in life. It's that voice inside that's always asking, okay, what's next? Then there's the Po, or the corporeal soul, which is anchored in the lungs. The Po is all about your physical body and your immediate experience of being alive. It's in charge of your instincts, your reflexes, all your physical sensations, and, crucially, those gut feelings. It's the most primal, instinctual part of you. Okay, moving on to the Yi, the intellect, which is associated with the spleen. The Yi is your inner scholar, simple as that. It handles your ability to focus, to study, to memorize things, and to take in a bunch of information and turn it into coherent thoughts. Anytime you're really concentrating on something, that's your Yi working hard. And last but definitely not least, we have the Z. That's your willpower, and it's housed in the kidneys. The Z is the source of your inner strength, your grit, your determination. It's that fire inside that lets you set big goals and gives you the perseverance and ambition to actually follow through, no matter what gets in your way. So, that's the team. You've got these 5 spirits all working together. But what happens when one of them goes off course or gets out of balance? Well, this is where we get right back to those feelings we talked about at the beginning, feeling scattered, stuck, or totally overwhelmed. So let's take a look at the Hun, your inner architect. When it's balanced, you feel creative, you have a sense of purpose, you're emotionally flexible, life feels like it has direction. But when the Hun is imbalanced, that's when frustration kicks in. You feel aimless, you can't make a decision, and it can even lead to depression. It's like the architect has lost the blueprints. And what about the Yin, your inner scholar? When it's happy and in harmony, your thinking is crystal clear, you can focus, and your memory is sharp. But an imbalanced Yin? Oh, that feels like constant worry, overthinking everything, getting stuck in these obsessive thought loops, and that dreaded mental fog where you just can't seem to think straight. And finally, let's look at what happens when the Shen, the leader, the CEO, is disturbed. A balanced Shen means you feel calm, you sleep peacefully, you're emotionally stable. But when it's out of balance,
You get anxiety, insomnia, that feeling of restlessness you can't shake. I mean, it makes sense, right? If the CEO is in chaos, the whole company is going to feel it.
Okay, so we know these spirits can go astray. The big question is, how do we get them back on track? How do we bring them back into harmony? Well, TCM offers a really holistic path to restoring that inner balance. And this is absolutely crucial. The goal in Chinese medicine isn't just to slap a bandage on symptoms like anxiety or insomnia. The real goal is to get to the root cause by restoring balance to the entire system, the five spirits, and the organs that house them. It's a completely holistic way of looking at health. The strategy for this basically breaks down into three core ideas. First, you have to nourish the foundation. That means supporting the physical stuff like your blood and a deep energy reserve called essence that actually gives the spirits a stable home to live in. Second, you calm the mind, using different practices to soothe the Shen, the leader. And third, you harmonize the organs, using things like lifestyle changes, herbs, or acupuncture to directly support each spirit. So, when you put this all together, what do you get? Well, you get a really profound and integrated way of looking at ourselves as whole human beings. Really, the biggest takeaway here is this. In the world of Chinese medicine, you cannot separate your physical health from your mental clarity or your spiritual well-being. They aren't separate things. They're all just different expressions of the same vital energy. They're completely tied together. There's this beautiful old saying that just captures this perfectly. When the heart blood is abundant, the Shen is calm. When Jing is full, the Zi is strong. You see, it shows how our physical substance, our blood, our deep energy, directly feeds our consciousness and our willpower. Body and spirit, truly one and the same. So, I want to leave you with a question to think about. Just take a moment and check in with yourself. Is your creative Hun asking for a little more attention? Does your intellectual Yi need a break from all that overthinking? Or maybe your ambitious Zi needs some extra support? What is one of your five spirits asking for today?